flaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. Oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rackets regular, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Racing for a Cause Wednesday night super late models right here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. You've got Chris and Rick up in the booth getting ready to call all the action for the Folded Flag Foundation 100 race number 2 for that championship run. With me as always, my good friend Rick. Rick, how are you tonight, bud?
Hey buddy, happy Wednesday. It is hump day and here we are at Five Flags. I'm excited for this, man. The second race of the Triple Crown. We only got one more to go after tonight.
Yeah, I am pumped, ready to go. And special shout out, I'm doing it tonight. Rick, you got the chance to do it last night, and I want to say a special hello out there watching on YouTube to Paige and Paisley, my girls. Glad to see you out there watching some racing. We love you both.
Yeah, they're very excited, man. They told me, they're like, we got to charge up our tablets, Dad, so we can watch you and Uncle Chris tonight and Uncle Andy go around Five Flags. So I know that they're upstairs watching, and I'm sure they enjoyed that, my friend.
Well, Andy's not exactly going around the track right now as Chris Stump puts down the rubber right in front of his car. Stump right now, the guy with the hot shoe here so far in this session. Remember, there is no qualifying here tonight. It's going to be a set lineup based on last week's race, with the exception of anybody who wasn't in last week's race and those chase runners, Rick. So the chase runners starting towards the rear of the field again. We saw what happened last week. It was exciting. It was interesting. There was some short track anger going on. We'll see what happens here tonight.
Yeah, South Boston, I mean, man, tempers flared. It was interesting. I mean, I get it, but it was a good race, and I'm looking forward to this, man. Five Flags, kind of a fun track to race on, Chris, and these guys looking to get their season done here, getting ready for summer, take a little bit of a break, and then they'll be back in the fall.
Absolutely. Can't wait for that. Hey, look at this. Troy Radford out there making one of his rare appearances out on short track, and his number 94. And one thing we've seen here, Rick, tonight, even though the track temperature is a pretty cool 75 degrees, that keeps happening quite often. Around he goes, followed by the 22. These cars coming off the corners are very loose.
Yeah, I've been watching a little bit of practice here, Chris, and noticing that too. And the interesting thing is, you know, it is a cool night here at Five Flags. That air temperature only 69 degrees. The track temperature only set at about 75 degrees. So, you know, these cars loose. I think it's going to be real interesting tonight when that green flag drops.
Yeah, it should be. We've also got something else interesting tonight. We've got 3 drivers all running the same paint scheme. And Rick, you actually brought that to my attention a little bit earlier as well.
Yeah, something a little different going on here for the second race of the Triple Crown Championship. Michael Frabert in the 36, Mark Frabert in the 44, and the one of James Somke running with some PBR on the hood, man. I'm pretty excited to see that, that's for sure.
Yeah, all of them say prototype. And well, let's see here.
I mean, maybe they've been running them all season, Chris, and Trading Paints finally decided to work fully tonight. I don't know.
Well, the banner on the top of the windshield says Fireworks 90 Designs. So, well, we'll see if we can get some more information on that as the night unfolds.
Yeah, maybe they picked up a new sponsor, Prototype Engines.
Yeah, not sure. Bowden Motorsports, good to see you out there. Great to hear that you got iRacing yesterday, and now you just got to get that computer ready, and we hope to see you out on track. If you're looking for league racing, we can definitely help point you in the right direction depending on what you want to do, as we do just about everything here on the Turn 3 Racing Network, from dirt to the Monster Energy cars. Well, I guess I can't call them that anymore, can I?
Nope. They're now the NASCAR Cup Series.
Cup Series cars.
Presented by Xfinity, Coca-Cola, Maypax tampons, the official tampon of NASCAR, by the way. Big Red,
Yeah.
Wonder Bread, and Old Spice.
Oh, you forgot Pizza Hut.
And Pizza Hut, you're right. And don't forget the guy who drinks the macchiatos, that Pierre water or whatever it's called. That water sucks, by the way. If you drink it, I'm sorry, but...
Perrier?
Yeah, that stuff.
Oh, Lord, as we are counting down the warm-up session, just about done, then we're going to go ahead and check out the grid for these guys here tonight. Again, it is a standing grid. I've got the sheet ready to go. Should be a good race tonight. Matthew Spinks is out here tonight, and so far he's second spot on the speed charts. Jeff Dillon in his number 52 running in third on the speed charts. Travis Wright in the 10 has had a pretty decent season. The 10, fourth quickest, and Troy Radford picking up the top 5. Brian Hacker, who is one of those contenders for that championship run, in the 11, he's sixth quickest. Justin Rigsby, AJ Hamill, AJ Rogers, and Jeffrey Stiles round out the top 10. Then it's Michael Frabert, Mark Frabert, Mike Holtzclaw, Zach Cold Beer Coyer, Doug Wasaki, a true gentleman in anybody's mind, rounding out the top 15 in that beautiful new paint scheme for liver awareness. James Somke, Andy Lambert, and Wayne McDuff III rounding out the field as it is right now. But with 30 seconds to go, I'm pretty sure we got everybody in, Rick.
Yeah, I think you're right, Chris. I mean, this is going to be the perfect size field for tonight's race here. I mean, we've had good car counts all season long, and but now with just 2 left.
Sorry, I'm reading the comments. I'm not too drunk to taste this chicken, Colonel Sanders.
That's right. Well, we can throw in the chicken pit too. You can't forget old Stoker Ace. I mean, he was the fastest chicken in the South.
He was indeed the fastest chicken in the South. As we get ready to set the grid here for tonight's race, Rick, and well, what do you say we bring it on up, because it's pretty cool. Starting on the pole for tonight's event, going to be the 44 of Mark Frabert to his outside. Michael Frabert inside row number 2, going to be AJ Hamill to his outside, the 72 of Andy Lambert. Doug Wasaki going to start on the inside of row number 3 with James Somke to his outside. Wayne McDuff inside of the next row with Matthew Spink starting in 8th. Starting 9th spot tonight's going to be Justin McDuff with Travis Wright to his outside. Zach Coldbeer Coyer picks up an 11th starting spot. with Jeffrey Stiles to his outside. Chris Stump, fast guy here during the warm-up session, is going to be 13th. And then it's the four gentlemen vying for a championship. It's AJ Rogers, Brian Hacker, Justin Rigsby, and Jeff Dillon. Mike Holtzclaw going to pick up shotgun on the field here tonight. And that is going to be your starting lineup.
And I think you were reading the thing that Andy sent us. Yeah, you are. There's a little difference there.
Nope. That's how it is.
Okay.
I don't care what you say.
In the 94, T. Roy Radford going to be starting in 18th position, Chris.
Oh, yeah. Can't forget Troy.
Well, you did.
Well, I did, yeah.
And Justin McDuff not here tonight.
Well,
that's okay. It's all good.
What do you want me to do, Rick?
You got Frabber, Hamill, Lambert, Wysocki, Somke, McDuff III, Spinks, Wright, Coldbeard, Coyer, Stiles, Stump, AJ Rogers, Brian Hacker, Justin Rigsby, Jeff Dillon, Mike Holtzclaw, and T. Roy Radford. That is our field tonight here at Five Flags.
Okay, so you have Frabber, Hamill, Lambert, Wysocki, Somke, McDuff, Spinks, Wright, Coyer. Forget it. Here we go. Getting ready to the green flag for the first time here tonight from Five Flags.
And man, Mark Frabber gets a good job. We already got issues. We got the 36 getting into some issues there, Chris.
Yeah, but able to keep it going straight. And here comes the 35 machine. Oh no, the 36 goes around. Chris Stump gives a little tap and the 36 rights it. Wow, what a start. Okay, so these guys, it's going to be a night again here tonight at Racing for a Cause. Gentlemen, this is going to be fun. I want to thank everybody once again for coming on out to the Turn 3 Racing Network. We appreciate it. Remember, just one more race to go here on a Wednesday night. Next week will decide the championship. Mark Frabber, your pole sitter tonight, and man, he had a really good start to the race. But now he's going to have AJ Hamill. I'm going to be starting on his outside. This track just shy of a half a mile long, Rick. 5 flags. Like we mentioned earlier, track temperature 73 degrees. So the track should be primed for a good race. Maybe just got to get the rubber down a little bit. Air temperature 69. And man, it was just about that today.
It was.
Yeah.
It was a beautiful day up here in Vermont before I packed up the Hammond Hotel, or actually Lagoo Lounge this week, eh?
That's right. It's the Lagoo Lounge here on a Wednesday night.
So one of the Frabber brothers having a little bit of an issue. Michael Frabber in the 36, Chris, started second here tonight, now in 14th position. Actually 15th, moved down another one.
And he's coming down pit road.
Yep, caution number 1.
Oh. Well, you can just ask Rick to borrow his. He'd be happy to let you borrow it, I'm sure.
I just barely got it bolted to the rig, man. I haven't even plugged it in yet. That's my job for tomorrow. I didn't want to mess with anything because I knew we had that special broadcast there last night with the guys under NASCAR rules for sim racing gunners. What an outstanding race there they had last night, man, over at Dover. That was wicked fun. And then, of course, we're running tonight. So after tonight, tomorrow, I've been thinking about how I want my race room set up, and I got it figured out. So I got to move some stuff. But every time I move stuff, which makes no sense to me, something goes wrong. So I was like, I'm not doing it until after Wednesday. And then I have a few days to, get things tested and make sure everything's good for Sunday.
Yeah, there you go. Pace car is in, getting ready to go back to the green flag. It's a single file start for the 44, Michael Frabber, and man, did he take off.
Frabber came here to race, and I announced Mark Frabber in the 44 machine. I love these new paint scheme that these guys have going. Of course, AJ Hamill's got the 18 emptythetanks.org machine in second place. James Somke, a teammate there of the Frabber brothers, I'm guessing, is sitting in third. Wayne McDuff, the third, is sitting in fourth. Matthew Spinks, fifth. He's having a good night. Hopefully that continues for Matthew as he's putting some pressure right now on the inside of Wayne McDuff, the third, and the 35 able to get around the 413.
Yeah, Matthew Spinks working up, and he is to 4th spot already. James Somke, the next driver for Spinks to try and catch. So far, everybody else single file right back to the 52 of Jeff Dillon and the 10 of Travis Wright. Dillon already able to get around Lambert, but now right to the inside of Andy. Lambert makes that pass smooth as Andy is just not comfortable on this track so far. Rick, you got to think the new wheel and pedals, possibly a little adjustment period still with those things.
Well, you know, I think you're right, Chris. I talked to Andy a little bit last night just to see how things are going as he raced in the RFC Next Gen Series. Those guys crowned their championship last night right here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. And I asked him, you know, how'd you like it? He loves it, but he's just got to fit, you know, with anything. As soon as you change any little piece of equipment, Chris, you have to get used to the inputs. And that's something that Lambert's dealing with now. You know, I know, and you know, he's going to put in the practice whether you get that stuff figured out for coming this fall.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Andy is not one to shy away from putting the work in. And speaking of last night here on the Turn 3 Racing Network, Rick, you mentioned it. Championship was crowned. Congratulations going out to Dustin German, who ended up having to win by a tiebreaker, basically won that championship. Unbelievable job and unbelievable season. Troy Radford must be proud of the guys over on Tuesday night. Tonight, though, we have a different challenge. We have a challenge for 4 drivers. AJ Hamill making it 6 as he is trying to challenge the 44 Mark Fravert for the lead, and right now has him by just a little bit on the outside. And the 44 of Fravert comes back down on the inside, trying to hold off but cannot do it. AJ Hamill leads the last lap.
And Hamill's been sitting there in second, Chris, waiting for Fravert to make a mistake, and finally he just said, okay, enough's enough. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do it on the outside, which is kind of tough here at 5 flags, but the 18 got it done.
Yeah, and Matthew Spinks also getting it done on the inside. Spinks works his way to 3rd spot.
Got 35 looking good. I know Brad's out there. He hasn't said hi yet, but I know he's watching and listening in. Ira's boy right there. As the 35 goes on the inside, Chris, of the 44 Fravert right now. Spinks got a really good line. He's going to take over 2nd position.
And Matthew Spinks is climbing his way to the top. AJ Hamill has got to be wary of the rear view mirror as the 35 is coming. And then the field kind of straightens back out nose to tail, just waiting for somebody to make a mistake, somebody else to capitalize on it.
And Chris, I mean, if you notice, we're only on lap 20 of 100 right now. I mean, they're going to tick off quick because, like you said, less than a half a mile, just under. It's only 0.48 miles here around 5 flags. But it took AJ Hamill no time to take over that lead. And, of course, that's because he's running a Chevy.
Well,
he dropped the Toyota, and now he's in a Chevy, and it's working out for him so far. So hopefully he continues that on next season.
Oh, Lord. It took him 13 laps. But yes, he did get to the lead. Now he has led the last 8 laps going into turn 1. AJ Hamill comes off from 2, works the backstretch now with Matthew Spinks right behind him.
Yeah, but don't worry about that backlash, man. People take this sim a little seriously. You know, you already have your wheel bought. I think it'd be good for you to go out and practice, use your controller. Just don't talk about it. You know, only talk about it when you win, because that really gets the fanboys very upset, Chris. Right now we have Matthew Spinks peeking on the inside of the 18, not able to do much with it, but he definitely kind of tests the waters to find out how to empty those tanks and get by that number 18 machine.
Yeah, I'm watching the 11 of Brian Hacker. He's to the inside of Jeffrey Stiles, and he makes that pass, and he is bringing AJ Rogers along for the ride. Let's think about this for a minute. AJ Rogers was actually the points leader for most of the season, and then had a hand surgery, fell out of the points lead. But it didn't matter, because at the end of the day, everybody who was running for the chase got their points zeroed out to start anew.
That's the thing I love about these guys, Chris. I mean, RFC obviously close to yours and I heart. We had a little bit of a part of starting the league with Andy Lambert. But these guys, you know, you got AJ Rogers, who missed 1 week with a hand surgery, comes out, he's racing. We got Zach Colbier-Coyer right now sitting in the 15 car in 11th position, who has a hurt thumb right now. He wasn't sure if it was broken or just badly sprained, but he's out there doing a good job. Brad Spinks, there you are. Probably last race to be watching, but hopefully everything's okay.
We got a battle for third spot. Chris Stump works his way around Michael Fravert, your pole sitter tonight in Fravert's car. Looks like it is getting tight as he was way up high through turns 1 and 2. Here comes Brian Hacker to the back bumper of the 44. The 11 working the inside, can't get there this time by. Right to the back bumper once again, going through 1 and 2.
These guys, you know, Chris, they're doing a really good job. Their nose to tail pretty much all the way down through the field. There is a car stuck on the outside further back, but these guys doing a good job. They're capitalizing on all these little, you know, spots where they can make a move. Right now, Fravert kind of stuck on that outside lane. Hacker goes around. Here comes AJ Rogers. And of course, right behind them, it looks like Styles is going to be making a pass into 6th position.
Oh, AJ Rogers was trying to take a peek to the inside of the 11 during that pass. Didn't have a run, but man, he got to the back bumper. And yeah, Brad, I hope everything's okay. Maybe Matthew's going back to work, and that would be a great deal for him.
That would be slowly. The states are starting to open up in the United States of America, Chris, over this COVID-19 coronavirus stuff. And I know Spinks was talking about that he was going to be heading back. So unfortunately, we're going to miss him on the track, but real life comes first, and RFC will always be here for him. He definitely has a spot. No problem with that at all. It's been a joy watching Matthew Spinks drive that 35 around.
And speaking of, he's running in 2nd spot right now, right behind AJ Hamill. Top 3 cars. Heck with that. Make it top 5 under a blanket right now. With AJ Rogers, Brian Hacker, Chris Stump, Matthew Spinks. Oh, Stump takes a look to the inside of Spinks. Spinks holding on the outside, heading into turns 1 and 2, and Chris Stump making the move. He's side by side, the 35 on the backstretch. Can Chris Stump make this pass happen? Good, clean running here for 2nd spot as the 98 continues to try the inside. And Spinks stuck on the outside. May have to let him go before he burns the tires off. No tire rule in effect here tonight. Ooh, Brian Hacker comes off from 4 loose. Able to gather it back up, but the top 5 drivers starting to separate themselves from the field now, Rick, as Stump does finally get around Spinks. Spinks settles down into 3rd. And it looks like we may have a battle for 4th spot brewing. We do. AJ Rogers to the inside of Hacker. Rogers in the 17 to the inside. Hacker to the outside in the 11. And AJ Rogers makes that pass going into turn number 3.
You know, Hacker having that little bit of an issue getting a little loose, Chris, really helped Spinks out, because then he was able to maybe save a little bit of the tires there, because he was running pretty hard there on the outside as he was battling with Stump. But once Stump took over 2nd and that gap opened up because Hacker got loose, Spinks was able to get in there, but AJ Rogers is right there to kind of capitalize and keep Hacker back there. So both those guys doing a good job.
And AJ Rogers not settling for 4th as he starts taking a peek to the inside of the 35 machine. And Spinks gets a little bit loose coming off from turn 4. That gives the 17 the ability to drop down to the inside. AJ Rogers looking for 3rd. Coming out of turn 4, AJ Rogers at the line was credited with 3rd spot. Spinks trying to fight back on the outside. We've seen this play out already a couple of times here, Rick. The outside, definitely not the preferred line to pass. And the 17 this time by has a bit of an advantage this time. AJ Rogers, the 3rd spot, heading into turns 1 and 2 on the backstretch now.
Yeah, Spinks kind of has to make a quick decision, and it looks like Hacker's already making it for him, Chris. Spinks had a very, very small window to move down onto that inside lane, but Hacker decided to put his nose in there, so Spinks kind of just stuck out there, not really where he wants to be.
Yeah, Brian Hacker now trying for that 4th position, heading into turns 3 and 4. Brian Hacker to the inside of Spinks. Meanwhile, the top 3 drivers nose to tail, and they are starting to separate.
That pass for the lead. Chris Stump gets around AJ Hamill. Now Chris Stump takes his turn leading around here at 5 flags. Look at AJ Rogers. The AJs are battling it out right now, Chris.
Not the first time we've seen them battle this season. or throughout the years here at Racing for a Cause. But now AJ Rogers takes a good strong line to the inside, going down the backstretch. Rogers with an advantage into turns 3 and 4. Here comes Brian Hacker again on the inside of the 35. AJ Rogers takes over second spot. Brian Hacker to the inside of the 35, heading through turns 1 and 2, up onto that backstretch. Put the foot down and get as much speed as you can. Let it coast through 3 and 4. And the 11 this time through does not have the speed to get past the 35. The 35 working hard on that outside line. Spinks not making it easy. This time through 3 and 4, Hacker may have the advantage, and does, as he has picked up 4th spot away from from Matthew Spinks. And now Hacker settles into that 4th place position. The 18 holding on to 3rd, has led 30 laps here tonight before being passed by Chris Stump about 5, maybe 6 laps ago. And AJ Rogers holding on to that 2nd position.
That's going to be interesting to see, Chris, because as we've seen, as soon as people, I mean, nice clean air, they're out there doing their thing, but they're still racing pretty hard as they lead this pack around 5 flags. But it seems like their equipment burns up a little bit. We saw AJ Hamill, like you said, got out there, led 30 laps before Stump and Rogers was able to get around him. So kind of interesting to see what happens here. And we're already halfway through this race, Chris. We're on lap 52 of 100.
Yeah, a little better than halfway around this circuit. And I was watching the 18 because the last time around out of turn 4, he had a big wiggle, but it seems like he had that situated, figured out what happened and fixed it this past time by, and the same there. So the 18 tires are probably a little bit upset, but I think he's figured it out and will continue to be able to run. But meanwhile, man, the gap between 2nd and 3rd is growing, and Chris Stump is also putting a gap between himself and AJ Rogers in 2nd spot. The 17 machine trying to figure it out, but Chris Stump right now so good at these short tracks, Rick, and he is proving it here tonight.
Another guy who's out there proving things, Chris, that's the 94, Troy Radford. Right now, Radford sitting in 9th position. And slowly moving his way up through the field.
Yeah, Radford was shotgun on the field here tonight, and he's made his way up to 9th. He's got Travis Wright to his outside going into 3, and Troy Radford going to make that pass. The 99, Justin Rigsby, maybe trying to follow him through. Wright stuck on the outside, and Rick, we've seen this play out, like I said, many times already tonight. The outside lane just cannot hold with the inside lane, maybe for a lap or 2, and then it's all done.
Yeah, right now Bradford's still working that inside there of Wright, Chris, and he finally has it. But the issue is 99 of Rigsby and that beautiful Star Legacy Foundation car, number 99. He's right on the back bumper of Radford, so he's keeping that door nice and closed.
And that's what you got to do around this little track. See an opportunity, you got to stick it in and do it. Just ahead of them, Zach Cold Beer Coyer on the inside of the 85 of Jeffrey Stiles. Cold Beer going to make this one happen at the line, has the advantage. Zach Cold Beer Coyer up to 7th spot. "40 laps to go next time by for Chris Stump." As we hit that mark, and the 98 is marching pretty strong right now. He's led the last 17 laps. 3 different leaders so far here tonight. Pravert, Stump, and Hamill. Stump, of course, your race leader right now, with AJ Rogers right behind him by about 0.6 of a second, and that gap really hasn't changed all that much until I started talking about it, Rick. Then it's up to 0.7, almost 0.8.
Right now, Chris Stump has this track figured out. Chris doing a good job there in the Humanize Me. Number 98, AJ Rogers trying to do everything he can now. I mean, AJ Rogers being behind you, man, that's something that, you know that Stump is kind of looking up every now and then up into his rearview mirror. He knows that he has a little bit of a gap, but how long is that going to last?
Well, you never know. AJ Rogers is usually very, very good about saving his equipment, but with 37 laps to go, if he doesn't start closing in now, the opportunity might go away. I mean, these tires, they're all going to wear at roughly the same pace, Rick. I mean, yeah, you can save them a little bit, but not a ton. Matthew Spinks able to get right back around Brian Hacker. So Spinks is back up to 4th spot, and Jeff Dillon in the 52 is making his way into this group. Dillon running in 6th spot behind Hacker. So it's 3rd place, AJ Hamill, Matthew Spinks, Brian Hacker, and Jeff Dillon 3rd through 6th, running it pretty much by themselves right now.
Yeah, there was a lot of racing going on there, Chris. I've been watching because I wanted to see what Dylan was going to be able to do there in that number 52 Dylan Motorsports machine. And Spinks and Hacker were really battling it out there. Spinks took over that position.
Ooh, big slide out of 4 for Matthew Spinks, the 35. He loses a little ground to the 18 of AJ Hamill, but holds his position. Now starts working back to the back bumper of Hamill, but man, that could have gone bad quick.
You know, there's a lot of talent right there in that pack of 4 cars, Chris. These guys, number one, they're having fun, but they're probably not very happy with their cars at this point, but all of them doing a great job.
Now 30 laps to go for Chris Stump, who's working the backstretch right now, heading into turns 3 and 4. And the thing I see about Chris Stump, and when he's on, he is on. He is so smooth. You don't see a wiggle. You don't see anything out of that car until you go on board in the cockpit and then watch the steering wheel. Trying to hold that car down, and actually pretty successful at it right now is Chris Stump. When you see him sawing on that wheel just a little bit. So front tires are starting to lose traction just a little bit. They are getting worn.
They definitely are, but man, does Stump have it figured out, Chris? Very, very smooth, like you said. I mean, very small inputs on that steering wheel. A little bit of sawing. He holds it down there. Gets right back on the gas and goes.
So it's Stump, AJ Rogers, AJ Hamill, your top 3. Matthew Spinks in the 35, running in 4th spot. Brian Hacker in the 11, running in 5th spot. Jeff Dillon trying to get a run on the 11. Couldn't make that one happen. Do want to go ahead and thank everybody once again for tuning into the Turn 3 Racing Network. You're watching Racing for a Cause Super Late Models here at Five Flags. It's the Folded Flag Foundation 100. And Rick, there's only 24 laps to go.
Yeah, only one caution here tonight, Chris. So those laps are really starting to tick off really quick for these drivers here. And I'm sure Chris Stump a little bit happy with that. He's starting to get into a little bit of lap traffic here. It ain't going to be long, but guys doing a heck of a job here tonight at Five Flags.
Yeah, you got the 34 and the 36 racing with each other. That's the 34 of Doug Wasaki. The 36 Michael Fravert. Wasaki moves way up to give birth to the race leader. Such a clean driver, so friendly out on track. It is an absolute pleasure to race with Doug Wasaki. Now Stump goes to the inside of Fravert. So putting a little bit more work to AJ Rogers in 2nd spot. The gap now, Rick, has grown. It's 1.6 seconds. And AJ Rogers is going to see this race start to slip away here pretty quick with 20 laps to go. But he's the first one of those chase drivers on the track. So a good night if he can stay right there.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Chris. I mean, right now, I think, obviously no racer is really happy with taking second, but Rogers doing a heck of a job working his way up through the field, taking over second. He's held it for quite a while now. But man, Chris Stump with those two, well, technically now lap cars in between him and Rogers, and only 18 laps left to go, soon to be 17 here. As Stump comes out and goes across the start finish line. I think it's definitely, AJ Rogers definitely had a time to try to race Chris Stump for the win here tonight.
Yeah, Stump is a man on the mission, and he is making it look, at this point, I'm going to say he's making it look a little easy. Chris Stump, 2-second lead now, 2.1 over AJ Rogers, and Rogers kind of marred back there in that slower traffic, trying to work his way around. He does get around Doug Wasaki. Wasaki moved out of the way, but he still has Fravert in front of him, separating him and Chris Stump. AJ Hamill, meanwhile, he's got a little battle that's starting to brew. Looks like Matthew Spinks is looking to try and pick up third spot. He had a good run, just couldn't make it stick in 1 and 2. 3 and 4, he's a little tight, heads up the track just a little bit, and that gives AJ Hamill a bit of a breathing room there for just a moment. Spink's going to try and get it back on the outside, or excuse me, on the backstretch into 3 and 4. Let's see if he can pull in just a little bit here. He's coming out of turn 4 just a little bit more showl than I would like to see. Easy for you to say, Rick. Don't do that again. Oh. But the 18 holding his line very well, and the 35 comes out just a little fatter that time.
Now that you asked me to say it, Chris, in my head, I can do it, but I know I can't, swinging a little shallow.
Yeah, that's the word.
That's the word you're looking for.
Yeah. Isn't that what I said?
In the Vermont French accent, A.
Oui. 10 laps to go for Chris Stump, your race leader. He's opened up a 2.8 second lead now over AJ Rogers. Rogers may have to be content with that second spot as Chris Stump continues to pull away. Back in third spot, it's AJ Hamill, and Hamill starting to put a little bit of a gap here on Spinks. After Spinks in fourth spot, you got fifth place runner, the 11 of Brian Hacker, Jeff Dillon right behind him, and Dillon's been there for a very long time. Just hasn't found a way around the 11 car.
Hacker's a tough one to pass, Chris, so it doesn't surprise me as you see the Dillon making a liar out of me. But yeah, he might be hard to pass until I get in on the inside and take his line away. But nope, not able to do it. Dillon falls back a little bit. Hacker hangs on to that position for now. We only got 7 laps to go, soon to be 6.
Justin Rigsby up to 7th spot. He was able to get around Troy Radford a couple of handful of laps ago. Radford back to 8th spot. Not a bad showing for the Lucky Finn, number 94, because, he doesn't race these cars a lot anymore, Rick.
Oh, and he put some work in too, Chris, because he started here shotgun at the last position on the field. So working your way up to 8, I would take that as a victory.
Yeah, I would too. Handful of laps to go here for Chris Stump. Gap right now back to second spot, 3.2 seconds. Make it 4 laps to go as he's working through 1 and 2 onto the backstretch. The rotors are glowing on the 98, but it doesn't seem to affect it as he is starting to get to the back bumper of the 72, Andy Lambert. Andy is probably going to end up, I don't want to say he's going to go a lap down. There's just not a lot of time left, but Andy's not going to stay in front of your race leader either.
Now 72 looking a little tight there, and of course Chris Stump right there, Chris.
See Somke coming back off from pit road. He took a minute. Now heading back onto the racing surface. And for the first time tonight, and the only time, the white silk is out. 1 lap to go for Chris Stump and his number 98 on the backstretch. Dives down into turns 3 and 4. The 98 gonna pick up a win here tonight. Congratulations goes out to Chris Stump. AJ Rogers crossed the line in second spot. Third is AJ Hamill. Fourth, Spinks. And fifth spot belongs to Jeff Dillon, who was able to get around Brian Hacker. Hacker finishes in sixth spot. Justin Rigsby seventh. Troy Radford eighth. Travis Wright ninth. And Zach Coldbeer Coyer picking up 10th spot.
Mark Frabert finished in 11th position. Andy Lambert in 12th. Mike Holsclaw in 13th. Michael Frabert in the 36th and 14th. Jeffrey Stiles pulled that 85 out and got a 15th place finish here tonight. Doug Wysocki in the 34th, 16th. Wayne McDuff the 3rd, 17th. And rounding up the field, the 1 of James Tomke.
So a quick race here tonight for Racing for a Cause, just over a half an hour. And we are done. Sometimes I really like that short track racing. Your race winner once again, Chris Stump. We're going to step away for just a moment as we set up some post-race interviews. We will be right back. Back live here from Five Flag Speedway, and we've got our top 3 drivers ready to talk, and I'm sure we're going to hear about it because the first guy we're going to talk to is going to be AJ Hamill. And AJ, he's always got something to say. Let's get him on up here. AJ Hamill, this is Chris and Rick up in the booth. You got a copy?
I do indeed.
Well, bud, you had the lead for 30 laps, and then it was gone. Car get too tight? What was going on there?
No, you make it sound like I should have kept that lead.
Yeah, you should have. I mean, you're a racer, right?
No. If we made a list of tracks that I am not good at, this one would be in the top 5%. So the fact that we're talking is a miracle.
Well, so be it. But you look good out there tonight. I saw you wiggle a couple of times. It looked like the car was snapping loose from a tight situation. What say you, sir?
Oh, yeah, she's tight, and I had to mirror drive for however many laps after I passed the 44. So, yeah, she was tight. I have no idea what I'm doing out here. Just, I mean, I don't know if I'm overdriving it or underdriving it or what, but not too bad to finish only a couple seconds behind Mr. Rogers here in the 17. He's very, very good at Five Flags. So I'm sure there's a few unhappy drivers behind me. They wanted to duck the nose in, and I didn't want them to.
Yeah.
So
well,
they probably won't be happy, but you get a lane, I'll give it to you, but try to force a lane, I'll take my chances.
you got to work for that pass. Anybody on the 18 that you need to thank tonight, bud?
Sure. We got Center for Whale Research. Don't even need Rick for that one. whaleresearch.com on the quarter panel. All right. I had it wrong for all year, but I finally fixed it. Which is the organization looking out for the Pacific Northwest orcas up in the Victoria, BC, Seattle area. If you're up there looking at water, you'll see them. Having some population issues, trying to keep them alive. Don't eat their salmon. They need it. Arts Barbershop, SLC, Empire Racing Team. Good. Congrats to Chris on the win. As soon as I saw him charging through there, like, well, this ain't going to last long, but that's all right. I'm going to lose to somebody. Might as well be him. Andy for putting up with us. It was a heck of a run to the finish there. I think we put on a different kind of good show tonight. A little snoozer up front, but a lot cleaner. And you guys, sure.
And then Under Armour and Cobalt.
Sure.
And
you're going down the B pillar. Huh?
Oh yeah. and of course, the reason why you came in third on a track that you are not good at, quote unquote, okay, that was you, is because of that Chevy bow tie
Oh yeah,
I'm
that
just
new.
saying.
That's true. They had all that money come in a few weeks ago. They didn't were spending anymore. So I got this nice car. Of course, now it's going to Mr. Kenseth, but at least we got this car out of it.
Well, there you go.
All right, AJ. Well, congratulations on a third place run, bud. And we'll see you again next week. It's the last race next week.
Thanks, guys.
All right, AJ Hamill, driver of the number 18, bringing it home in third spot tonight. And that's going to bring us up to the 17 car of AJ Rogers. I believe Rick caught up with AJ to talk to him about a second place finish.
I did. AJ Rogers driving the number 17 machine. You got Rick and Chris up in the booth. You got a copy, buddy?
10-4. How are y'all?
Oh, man, I am doing great. Number one, how's the hand?
It's about, 70, 80%. Still pretty sore, but it'll be good.
It'll be good.
It'll be good.
Just 70, 80%. I'm out here driving with a hand that I just had surgery on a couple weeks ago and pulling out a second place finish here at Five Flags. You are a beast, my friend.
Well, thank you, sir. I don't try to be, but, I enjoy racing with these guys and try to show up. And, Chris definitely put a hurting on me tonight. And this is one of my favorite tracks. I was definitely not going to miss it for anything, plus the points. So I don't know how much this is going to help me in the points. I needed Jeff and Hacker and them to have a little worse run than they did to get back up there. So we'll see.
Well, that's all you can do, buddy. Hey, listen, congratulations here coming in second position. Anybody on that 17 you'd like to thank?
Definitely my sponsor. I picked up a new one, Epic Media, all over the car, and switched teams here recently, so I'm now part of the posse, and I got to give those guys a huge shout out for getting me back into this and teaching me some secrets and rolling on with this thing. So very, very happy about that.
All right, buddy. Hey, listen, I'm glad that's going to work out for you. I'm glad that your hand's doing well. We look forward to seeing you next week for the championship race.
10-4. Thank you, buddy. Y'all have a good night.
You too, bud.
You too, AJ. And that was the driver of the number 17 getting done in second spot tonight. And that leaves us one more person to talk to. And it is your race winner here tonight. He's the driver of the number 98. He wins with a 3.69 second lead after leading 57 laps. It's Chris Stump in the 98. Chris, do you have a copy?
Sure do, Chris.
Well, buddy, it took you about 43 laps to sniff out the lead. And then it was lights out for the field. And that car, it's looking pretty strong out there.
Yeah, I was pretty concerned. Couldn't really tell how much damage I had there in our lap one disaster, whatever happened up front there. And I was going to come in and work on the damage, but I couldn't see the fenders buckled up at all. So I was more, if it would have been fender damage, I probably would have came and worked on it just to help with the aero. But if the nose is crunched up, it was probably going to get crunched up more. So kept it out there and didn't think I'd have any tires left to get up there, but it was pretty hairy about the last 30, 40 laps. Try not to spin out on my own.
Yeah, I can see some cords on the front tires, so those are spanked. The nose damage, it may have helped you. Sometimes these cars will drag the nose, but that's not going to be an issue on the left front of your Toyota Supra.
Well, there we go. There's a method to my madness then, huh?
Well, man, it's been a little while since we've talked to you, but getting a good shot at it tonight. And I got to go with, who do you got to thank? There's obviously the Human Eyes and the hashtag We See You right on the hood. Why don't you go ahead and talk about it?
Yeah, Humanizing the Badge. Like I said before, they're a nonprofit made up of law enforcement all over the country that just shows that cops have a sense of humor too. They're not all pricks. And side note, I was a police officer for years, so I can get away with saying that. But yeah, they do some cool stuff. Help with, they have an officer down program to help with PTSD. So an all around cool program. Want to thank Al Smith. I think he was the presenting sponsor for tonight. And Empire Racing teammate AJ, he had a heck of a run. Did an awesome job hanging on for top 3. And want to thank Andy as always for putting up with our shenanigans. Hopefully his blood pressure will be a little bit lower this week than it was last week. And want to thank you guys up in the booth.
All right, Stump. Listen, man, it was a good run. It was a pleasure to see you running out front. And we look forward to seeing you again next week. You have yourself a great night. Go celebrate that win.
All right. Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
You too,
Congrats, buddy.
And that was Chris Stump, driver of the number 98, bringing it home in first place tonight. And that's going to wrap it up for us here on the Turn 3 Racing Network for these super late models, brought to you by Racing for a Cause. Rick, a good race, a lot different than last week, but
massive news, Chris. I'm still here with the race leader down here on the front stretch here at Five Flags. The Toyota Supra engine finally blew.
yeah, we just watched that happen. And well, yeah, sometimes you do that to hide stuff during inspection. Maybe you didn't want something to happen on teardown, Rick, but nonetheless, that is going to do it for us, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank you again for coming on out to the Turn 3 Racing Network. We will see you here again next time.